Thank you, Mr. Lorda. I now recognize, from Alabama and first responder, Mr. Strong.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ranking Member. I appreciate our witnesses for being here to discuss the important work each of you are doing to secure our nation against weapons of mass destruction. As you all know, BioWatch is one of the programs used to carry out the mission of the CWMD office by collecting and testing air samples for biological agents likely to be used in an act of bioterrorism. As technology evolves, so do threats to our country. For example, increasing access and affordability of unmanned aircraft presents ample opportunities for bad actors to cause harm and hysteria in our communities. Now more than ever, we depend on efficiency and effectiveness of BioWatch. Unfortunately, this program is not operating like it should. From breakdowns to accurate information sharing to bureaucratic barriers and lagging procurements of biodetection technology, DHS has fallen dangerously behind. For this reason, I introduced the DHS Biodetection Improvement Act, which would direct DHS to use every tool in its disposal to develop an acquisition and procurement plan to meet the biodetection needs of the 21st century. The House passed this legislation earlier this month, and I urge my Senate colleagues to do the same. First, Assistant Secretary Callahan, to what extent is BioWatch an operational program given past findings of its inaccuracy in timely detection, and what plan exists for improving it?
Thank you, Representative Strong. BioWatch is the only biodetection capability that this nation has. It has existed. It is a stable and functional process. We are working on improving it and looking at technology and opportunities, but it is lab-based, lab-proven, and we've worked with over 30 jurisdictions to make sure that we have an appropriate baseline and security. BioWatch is reliable, sir.
Thank you. How long does it take from the moment a sensor registers a bioagent to when the data is shared with partners for response?
Yes, sir. The materials for BioWatch are collected either on a 12 or 24-hour basis and then are analyzed in the lab. From the time in the lab, it takes a few hours, somewhere between 2 and 4 hours, to identify whether or not there is aerosolized biological materials in the air.
12 to 24 hours, right?
That is for the collection time. Yes, sir.
Thank you. When dealing with the threats of bioterrorist attack, every minute matters, every second matters.
Yes, sir.
And the Chairman D'Esposito highlighted it can take up to 36 hours to get these results. How many times since the start of this program has there been a positive detection, and how many times has there been a false alarm?
In this room, sir, I cannot go into details, but I can talk about it in a different room if that would be, happy to take that offline if that's okay.
Thank you. Dr. Sherman, thank you for your work on reports related to BioWatch. I understand that the GAO has made multiple recommendations about changes that needs to be made to the acquisition and procurement process. Has DHS implemented any of those changes?
Yes, DHS has taken steps to better inform its acquisition process. And in fact, I think the result of BD21, the BD21 program being canceled, was informed in part by some of the questions that we had raised in prior work and recommendations that we had made regarding more informed decision-making during the acquisition process and not moving forward with that process and spending additional funds until there's really kind of clear evidence and documentation of effectiveness.
Thank you. Other than passing the DHS Biodetection Improvement Act, what is the biggest thing DHS can do right now to improve BioWatch in your judgment? What's the biggest thing they can do to improve biodetection?
I will say, I'll say biodetection is an incredibly challenging task. And, we're talking about how long it takes to be able to capture a sample and test it and confirm results. The extent to which there is a way to identify technologies that allow for increased efficiencies in those timeframes If those exist, then that is, that would be something that I think would result in a significant progress. But CWMD, given its current mission, should be actively considering, as it is, how to continue their focus in biodefense.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, you touched on it just a second. It is unique that you worked as a fire chief. I've been a fire chief, police, first responders. We know firsthand how critical that is, that we get that information. 40 years myself and 34 years as an emergency medical technician. So it's so critical to our first responders, and I thank each of you for what you do to get that information as fast as possible. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you.